Imagine walking into a world of sensory overload. The rhythmic chime of bells, the smell of expensive air filtration, and the hypnotic pulse of neon. Most people see excitement, but ex-employees see a mathematical battlefield. They know that every light and every sound is part of a language designed to separate you from your bankroll. Today, we're cutting through the noise. We are speaking with the technicians, the hosts, and the floor managers who spent years watching which machines the house relies on to pay the electricity bills. They are revealing the specific slots that experienced players avoid like the plague. If you've ever wondered why your local casino seems to swallow your money faster on some machines than others, the answer isn't bad luck. It's the machine's DNA. We're pulling back the curtain on the never-pay machines, starting with a fundamental shift in how you look at the floor. By the end of this video, you'll never see a slot machine the same way again. 1. The employee's lens, seeing the patterns. This establishes the authority of the ex-employee perspective. While players see individual wins, employees see this cycle. We follow the story of a floor technician who noticed that certain banks of machines required significantly less hopper filling or voucher printing than others. The insight here is the concept of tight versus loose from a maintenance standpoint. Why do casinos place certain machines in specific zones? It's not random. We explore the high volatility trap, machines that look identical to others but are programmed with a different payback schedule. This section sets the stage for the sequential reveal of machine types, ending with a suspenseful lead-in to the most common trap, the branded mega hit. Always observe the longevity of players on a machine bank before sitting down. I once spent an afternoon talking to a veteran floor technician named Marcus. For 15 years, Marcus didn't just walk the floor, he lived inside the machines. While you're focused on the spinning cherries or the rising multipliers, guys like Marcus are looking at the drop. Every week, he'd see the hard data, which machines were overflowing with cash and which ones actually had to be serviced because they were paying out too often. He told me something I'll never forget. The house doesn't hate winners, but it loves patterns. You see, most players walk into a casino and pick a machine based on a feeling. Maybe it's near the bar, or maybe the chair looks comfortable. But Marcus watched the cycles. He noticed that certain banks of machines, let us call them the identity thieves, were designed to look inviting but had a mathematically tight grip on their contents. They were the machines that never seemed to require a technician to fix a payout error, simply because they rarely paid enough to trigger one. These aren't broken machines. They are perfectly functioning profit centers. They use high volatility math to keep you in a loop of almost winning until your credits hit zero. Marcus saw people chase these machines for 8-hour shifts, convinced a jackpot was due, while the machine's internal log showed it hadn't hit a major payout in months. Before you touch a button, do a lap. Don't look for winners. Look for the machines where the players look the most stressed or are playing the fastest. Speed is the house's best friend, and on these machines, the tempo is intentionally set to a heartbeat that skips the wins. But if you think the location is the only trap, wait until you see the branded Mirage waiting for you in the center of the room. 2. The branded Mirage, paying for the name. Walking through the entrance, your eyes are immediately drawn to the massive, glowing screens featuring Superman, Game of Thrones, or your favorite classic rock band. These are branded slots, and a casino host once told me they're the most expensive rent on the floor. Think about it. Every time that machine spins, a portion of the revenue doesn't just go to the casino. It goes to the movie studio, the actors, and the estate of the celebrity. To cover these massive licensing fees, the return to player, or RTP, is often set significantly lower than the generic fruit or diamond machines sitting in the corner. You are literally paying a fame tax for the privilege of seeing a 3D animation of a dragon. I've watched tourists dump hundreds into these because the music is catchy, while the generic machine 5 feet away is quietly keeping someone's bankroll alive. The graphics are designed to distract you from the fact that the bonus hits are rarer than a snowy day in Vegas. If the machine looks like a blockbuster movie, treat it like one, as entertainment, not an investment. If you're playing to win, stick to the generic titles that don't have to pay a royalty to a Hollywood studio. But even if you avoid the big names, you might be walking right into a trap set by the very floor you're standing on. 3. The aisle trap, the myth of high traffic. There's an old gambling myth that the machines at the ends of the aisles, near the walkways, are the loosest because the casino wants people walking by to see winners. While that used to be true in the days of mechanical reels, modern floor design has flipped the script. Floor managers now often place tight machines in these high-visibility areas. Why? Because these are convenience machines. People waiting for a friend or heading to the buffet will sit down for 5 minutes and throw $20 in. The casino knows these players aren't looking for a long session. They're just killing time. These machines are designed to eat quickly. I've seen data reports where the machines in the high-traffic cross-sections had a hold percentage nearly double that of the machines tucked away in the quiet coves. You want to find where the locals are sitting, usually in the boring, dimly lit corners where the chairs are slightly worn. Never play a machine that is within 10 feet of a bathroom, a buffet line, or the main entrance. These are the impulse buy sections of the casino, and the price of that convenience is your bankroll. And speaking of price, we need to talk about the biggest deception on the floor, the penny slot. 4. The penny paradox. Small bets, big losses. The name penny slot is the most successful marketing trick in gambling history. It sounds safe. It sounds cheap. But ex-employees will tell you that penny slots are often the most expensive machines in the house. Mathematically, the lower the denomination, the lower the RTP. A dollar machine might return 95%, while a penny machine in the same room might be set to 88%. Furthermore, look at the max bet. On a modern penny machine, you're often encouraged to bet 300 or 500 credits per spin. That's $5 a pop. You are betting high-limit prices on a machine with the worst odds on the floor. I once watched a player celebrate a big win of $40 on a penny machine, not realizing they had spent $60 in spins to get there. The flashing lights and win noises trigger a dopamine hit, even when you actually losing money on the spin, a phenomenon we call losses masked as wins. If you're going to bet $3 a spin, don't do it on a penny machine. Move to the $1 denomination machines and play a single line or the minimum credits. You'll get a much higher mathematical return for the exact same risk. But there's an even bigger lure than the cheap spin, the life-changing progressive jackpot. 5. The progressive sinkhole, chasing the rainbow. We've all seen the giant digital meters climbing into the millions. It's the dream of every player, one spin to retire forever. But here is the secret the technicians know. That jackpot has to be paid for. Every time someone spins a progressive machine, a percentage of that bet is siphoned off to build the jackpot. That means the base game, the regular line hits you need to keep playing, is significantly weaker. If you aren't hitting that 1 in a million jackpot, you are playing a machine that is programmed to drain you faster than any other. I've seen players chase a must-hit by jackpot for hours, convinced they were due, only to realize they'd spent half the value of the jackpot just trying to trigger it. The odds of hitting a top-tier progressive are roughly the same as being struck by lightning while holding a winning lottery ticket. Only play progressives if the jackpot is at an all-time high, what we call positive expectation territory. Otherwise, stick to flat-top machines where the top prize is fixed. They pay out smaller amounts much more frequently, keeping you in the game longer. But what about the new machines that claim you can win with skill? 6. The skill illusion, the hidden RNG. Lately, casinos are filled with machines that look like video games. You're shooting aliens or popping bubbles, and it feels like your hand-eye coordination is determining your win. A former game designer once explained to me that this is almost entirely an illusion. While there may be a tiny skill element, the vast majority of the payout is still governed by the random number generator, RNG. The machine has already decided how much you will win before the bonus round even starts. If the RNG says you win $10, you could be the best alien shooter in the world, and you'll still only walk away with $10. The skill is just a wrapper to make a younger generation feel like they have control. In reality, these machines often have lower base payouts because the hardware and software required to build them are so expensive. Don't let the skill games fool you into overbetting. Treat them like a standard slot. If you find yourself getting frustrated because you missed a shot, remember, the machine's brain had already decided that outcome. If you think that's frustrating, wait until you hear how they use near-miss engineering to keep you glued to the seat. 7. Near-miss engineering, the almost addiction. Have you ever seen the third jackpot symbol stop just 1 centimeter above the pay line? Your brain screams, "I was so close." In the industry, We call this near-miss engineering. Technicians can program the visual reels to display near-miss symbols much more frequently than they would occur naturally. Even though a miss is just a miss to the computer, to your human brain, it feels like a short-term failure that predicts future success. This psychological trick triggers the same arousal as an actual win, keeping you playing longer. I've seen players stay at a machine for an extra hour just because they almost hit the bonus 3 times in a row. They don't realize the machine is programmed to tease them. It's a calculated emotional roller coaster designed to prevent you from walking away when you're down. When you see a near miss, take a deep breath and realize it means absolutely nothing for the next spin. The RNG doesn't have a memory. If you feel that "I'm so close" adrenaline, that is your signal to get up and take a 5-minute walk. But some machines don't even need psychological tricks. They just rely on you being in a hurry. 8. Convenience slots, the captive audience tax. The absolute worst machines you can ever play aren't even inside the main casino floor. They are in the airport, the hotel lobby, or the gas station down the street. In the industry, these are known as captive audience slots. The operators of these machines know that you aren't a gambler. You re someone with 10 minutes to kill before a flight or a dinner reservation. Because there is no competition, they set the RTP to the legal minimum. In some jurisdictions, an airport slot might return 10 to 15% less than a machine in a competitive casino on the Strip. I once saw a technician's report for a lobby machine that was so tight it was nicknamed the ATM by the staff, except it only took deposits. Never, under any circumstances, play a slot machine in an airport or a grocery store. If you have a gambling itch to scratch, wait until you get to a major casino where the sheer volume of machines forces the house to keep the odds somewhat competitive. Now, let us talk about the one machine that looks like a slot but is actually a math test: video poker. 9. The video poker trap, reading the table. Video poker is the favorite of the pro player, but it's a minefield for the casual visitor. Why? Because unlike slots, video poker tells you exactly how much it's going to pay out if you know where to look. Most players just look at the screen and think it's all the same. But an ex-floor manager showed me how they swap out full pay machines for short pay machines in the middle of the night. You need to look at the payout for a full house and a flush. A96 machine pays 9 credits for a full house and 6 for a flush. That is a great machine. But right next to it, the casino will put an 8/5 or even a 6/5 machine. To the untrained eye, they look identical. But the 6/5 machine will drain your wallet twice as fast. Always check the pay table before you drop a single credit. If you don't see a 9 and a 6 in those two spots, keep walking. The house is counting on your laziness to pad their profits. However, even a good machine can be a bad bet if the tempo is wrong. 10. Sensory overload and tempo. The speed of the spin. Have you ever noticed how some machines have fast play buttons or allow you to stop the reels early? This is all about tempo. The house's edge is realized over time. The more spins per hour you do, the faster the math catches up to you. Modern machines are designed with high-energy music and rapid-fire animations to keep your heart rate up and your fingers clicking. I once watched a high-speed machine that was doing 20 spins a minute. At $5 a spin, that player was cycling through $6,000 an hour. Even with a good RTP, the sheer volume of play makes losing inevitable. The stop button doesn't change the outcome. The RNG already picked the result. It just ends the animation sooner, so you can start the next losing spin faster. Slow down. Watch the animations. Take a sip of water between spins. The house wants you to play in a trance. By intentionally breaking the rhythm, you preserve your bankroll and actually get more entertainment for your dollar. But what about those machines that tell you they must hit by a certain time? 11. The must-hit by myth, the chaser's delusion. One of the most effective lures in modern gaming is the must-hit by jackpot. You see a sign that says jackpot must hit by $500, and the current meter is at $492. You think it's practically guaranteed. While it's true the jackpot must trigger before it hits, that number, what the casino doesn't tell you is how many people are fighting for that same prize and how much it will cost you to stay in the game. I've seen vultures, pro chasers, sit at these machines for hours, only for someone to walk up to the machine next to them and hit it on their first spin. Chasing these jackpots often leads players to overbet, wagering more than they usually would because they feel the win is imminent. If you're going to play a must-hit machine, do it because you enjoy the game, not because you're chasing the meter. The closer it gets to the limit, the more volatility increases as other players jump in to compete for the same prize. To really play like a pro, you have to look at the map, the hidden floor map. 12. The hidden floor map, payout alley. Casinos are designed like mazes for a reason. They want you lost, confused, and passing by as many tight machines as possible. But ex-employees know there is a payout alley. Usually, this is near the high-limit room or the main cage. Why? Because they want the big spenders or people with pockets full of cash to see people winning. If you see a row of older, ugly machines tucked near a high-traffic area but away from the main impulse zones, that's often where the best math is hidden. I've seen internal heat maps where the wins were clustered in very specific, non-obvious rows. The flashy, circular carousel in the center of the room? That's almost always the collection zone. Look for the boring rows. Avoid the circular carousels under the bright neon signs. If a machine looks like it hasn't been updated since 2005, but people are still sitting there, there is usually a very good mathematical reason for it. Now, before you sit down at any machine, you need the Pro Player Scan Checklist. 13. The Pro Player's Scan Checklist before you spin. An experienced player never just sits and plays. They perform a scan. First, check the denomination. Ensure it matches your budget. Second, look at the pay table. Is there a fame tax for a brand name? Third, look at the jackpot history. If a massive progressive just hit, the machine is in a rebuild phase. Fourth, check the surrounding environment. Are you in a convenience zone? And finally, look at the player tracking. Does the machine require a max bet to trigger the bonus? I've seen players win the jackpot combination but get nothing because they didn't bet the required amount. This checklist takes 30 seconds, but it can save you hundreds of dollars in rookie mistakes. If the machine doesn't pass all 5 points on the checklist, walk away. There are thousands of machines on the floor. Don't settle for one that is mathematically stacked against you more than necessary. But the most important secret isn't about which machine to play. It's about when to stop. 14. The exit strategy, changing the game. At the end of the day, the casino workers see thousands of people walk through those doors, and only a tiny fraction leave happy. The difference isn't luck, it's the exit strategy. The house depends on your greed to win back whatever they paid you. If you win $200, the casino's goal is to keep you in that chair until that $200 is gone, plus another $100 of your own money. The pros treat gambling like a business. They have a win limit and a loss limit. When they hit either, they walk. No, one last spin. No, I'm on a roll. They understand that the only way to beat a machine that never pays out is to stop playing it while you re-ahead. Remember, the casino is built on the money of people who didn't know when to leave. Play for fun, play with what you can afford to lose, and always keep your eyes open. Set a timer on your phone for 60 minutes. When it goes off, stand up, leave the floor, and get some fresh air. It breaks the slot trance and gives your rational brain a chance to take back control from the lights and sounds. Have you ever noticed these patterns in your local casino? Let us know in the comments. And as always, play smart and stay safe.